If you one of the public hearings, there are sign-in sheets over here. Zoning hearings only. There's sign-in sheets for pros or con over here on the seat with Chad Jacobs. So if you need to sign up, please see Mr. Chad before we begin in just a moment. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners, July 25th, 2023 meeting. We welcome you all here tonight. We're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Cynthia Reed Ward, followed by the invocation by Commissioner Truman Tinsley. Please join us.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, we're here today to ask your blessings, guidance, and performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just in the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and the people. We pray in your name. Amen.
The Zoom. Okay.
So Ms. O'Connor, this is the agreement for the Georgia City Solutions Inc. to provide consultant services for the city of Griffin. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to amend the agenda tonight to add item under the consent agenda 26A, to add an agreement for the Georgia City Solutions Inc. to provide consulting services for the city of Griffin. We have a motion to approve the agenda with this amendment. We have a motion by Commissioner Tinsley, second by Commissioner Murray. All in favor of approving the agenda, please signal by raise your hand. 5-0. All right, first item tonight is to present a proclamation declaring July 28, 2023 as System Administrator Day. So if our system administrators would like to join us up front. Welcome, everybody. Hope y'all having a great Griffin day.
Hello. You too.
Steve. Come on, thank you, Steve. All right. So we have a proclamation, System Administrator Appreciation Day, whereas the nation celebrates the last Friday of July as System Administrator Appreciation Day, and whereas Unix-based computer systems began keeping time with Unix Epic on midnight, January 1st, 1970. And whereas since that time, all information technology workers have tirelessly repaired, patched, and programmed computer systems. And whereas the men and women employed by the City Griffin Information Technology Center make significant contributions to the safety, health, and welfare of our citizens by ensuring that critical systems for 911, police, fire, water, and electric are always available. And whereas with the responsibility of managing 125 servers and thousands of nodes, including access points, cameras, laptops, tablets, and phones, the information technology staff remains ever vigilant, ensuring the security and proper operations of all devices. And whereas the City of Griffin values and celebrates our local information technology workers for their commitment to our residents, businesses, and communities as essential employees. Now, therefore, be resolved that the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim July 28, 2023 to be System Administrator Appreciation Day, and encourage all citizens to join the Board of Commissioners in thanking the hardworking men and women who ensure that all City of Griffin computer systems work efficiently and securely. I have hereunto that caused the seal of the city of Griffin to be affixed on this, the 25th day of July, the year of our Lord, 2023, signed Douglas S. Holberg, Mayor, and Jessica O'Connor, City Manager. So congratulations. We're proud of y'all. If we want to get a picture up front with our team.
Ready? Okay. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Well, I just don't want to keep you guys too long, but we really appreciate this and recognizing everything that the staff do on a daily basis. It's really tireless work that they do, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, consider the retirement of K-9 Argo with the Griffin Police Department. Captain Daniel Jett will address. Is Argo in the house?
Right. This is Lieutenant Kruger with K-9 Argo. He has been with us for approximately, I want to say 8 years. He is almost 10. Probably should have been retired a year or two ago, but his drive would not let us retire him. So we are retiring him at this time so he can go live the rest of his life with Lieutenant Kruger.
Lieutenant Kruger, would you like to express a few words? I'm sure it is.
Do I have to talk in the microphone or?
However you'd like.
We became partners in December 2016. So we've done approximately 6 years together as partnership, which is kind of unheard of. Usually when you make rank, you have to pass your K-9 to another handler. We found out he doesn't bond well with male officers. So I had no issue. And so that's what we did for the past 6 years. So he'll be coming home with me. He's got a brother, and he'll be living the rest of his life out with us at the house.
This time we are doing presentation citations for valor for firefighters and police officers involved in the rescue of a citizen from a burning vehicle. City Manager Jessica O'Connor.
Good evening. Ooh, that's different.
That was loud.
Yeah, sorry. So on the early morning hours of May 6th, we had a single vehicle accident that occurred on West Poplar Street that ended up about 50 feet off the roadway down a steep embankment across a 10 to 12 foot ravine. And it had come to a rest on the other side of that embankment, overturned and caught fire. The guy that was in the vehicle was actually underneath the vehicle as it was on fire. And the body cam footage is hard to watch, to say the least. And you can't listen to it because there's a lot of things that they might not want you to hear them say. But I did get to listen to it, and it was very well orchestrated. They were able to get him out. He was so banged up that he really could not help them, could not respond. So I think that it is worth giving them what we call a citation for valor. So I'm going to ask the following to please come up here with me. Lieutenant Joe Hudson, Officer Willie Deese, Captain Jeff Head, Captain Greg Thornton, Firefighter James Niemeyer, Firefighter Sam Johnson, Firefighter Kyle Caraway, Firefighter Dario Farno, Firefighter Jeremy Enlow, Firefighter Daniel Cowles, Firefighter Kelly McLaughlin, Firefighter Jeff Baker, Firefighter Raymond Haney, and Firefighter Patrick Malone. So for all of them, Ms. Trammell, my executive assistant, was able to find what we have now called a Medal of Valor. that I will present all of them with. Bartholomew, if you'll come help me. I'm not going to pin it on them. I'll let them decide how they want to keep it, but no. And I'll show y'all. Well deserved honors for them, for what they did. They will tell you that that's their job. But I think it's a little bit above and beyond. Thank you. No, which ones? Okay.
Well, gentlemen, whether it's on that day or any other day, don't give your, you serve the community, selflessly and put your lives at risk and responding to a tornado or a single car accident or a house. You name it, y'all are always there. God bless you for your training, your leadership. We're proud to have you in the city. Thank you.
I'll let you.
Symbol that's taken.
Right, smile. We got your photos? Okay.
One more thing. Let Chief Brock make a special presentation that I don't think anybody knows about yet.
So Lieutenant Joe Hudson, I want to give you a special thank you. So I've worked with you for a long time, and so have some of these guys up here. And you're always that police officer who is helping us, whether it's at a structure fire or whether it's at a car wreck, whatever the case may be. You're always stepping in, not only in a police role, but in a firefighter role half the time, which is the epitome of a public servant. I mean, you don't care which side you're on, so to speak. You're there to help, and we appreciate that. We also very much appreciate that you call us hose draggers, by the way, but that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. But yes, that's right. That's right. So in watching your video that night, you were there as Lieutenant Joe Hudson, not only as police Lieutenant Joe Hudson, but as firefighter Lieutenant Joe Hudson. We'd like to give you.
Come
Thank you. We're just glad y'all ride on the red trucks, not those yellow trucks. Thank you so much for all of y'all. Moving into the review financial report for May 2023, Finance Director Deborah Manning Gilbert will address. Good evening, Ms. Deborah. You made it, what, about 3 months now?
I'm working on it.
Working on it.
That's kind of tough to have to follow that, you know. But here we go. We're looking at the May financials. On May 31st, we were 91.6% into fiscal year 2023. Our total year-to-date operating revenue is 123.2 million, which is 96% of our projected operating revenue for the year. Our total year-to-date operating expense is 111.8 million, which is 82.5% of our projected operating expense for the year. Our local option sales tax collections are almost 5.1 million, representing 98.3% of our projections. T-SPOS collected is 4.1 million, which has already outpaced our projections by 10%.
Wonderful. Any questions or comments? Thank you. Jeff.
Thank you.
All right, moving into citizens' comment. At this time, the mayor opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The mayor reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or staff for resolution. With that being said, is there anybody on my left side who'd like to come before the board? Anybody on my left side? Is there anybody on my right side? Yes, you can please come to the podium. If you don't mind, you can state your name and address for the record. Or feel free to.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Hi,
It's, oh, you need my name, right?
name and address. if you
Okay,
would.
Tina Marie.
be somebody that looks like me in power. The issue that we have with crime in those red zone areas are that we have people that don't look like us. You have a department that makes up 89%, 89 officers, I think sworn, 80 or 90, and there's only 10 to 12% of them are African American. Therein lies a problem there. There lies a problem because the people that look like me, that live on the other side of the tracks, are not being policed by people that look like them. And you got African Americans that sit up here on this council that is not sensitive to the needs of the people that look like them and put them in that seat. So I want to be unequivocally clear this time that we intend to make some changes. Right. I want to be unequivocally clear this time that we would like for Homer Daniel, Ms. O'Connor, to be considered to be the chief of police.
Please direct your comments to the board.
Yes, sir.
Okay, not to Ms. O'Connor.
She's not part of, where is
This
this?
is our board of our commissioners.
Okay, well, she's hearing what I'm saying. I'm gonna call her name.
Direct their comments to
You
her.
can tell me to sit down, but
No,
I'm gonna mention her name and I'll direct it to y'all. But my issue with all of this, now we have all of the 3 African Americans that's on the board, that we don't have the leadership, or we don't have the concern out of these individuals that sit up here, for those individuals that sit out there. Mr. Mayor.
yes, sir.
You gotta be, you just gotta look at this thing, man, and know that we're hurting in our community. Police has been horrible in our community, and we just want somebody in our community that understands the hurt of our people, Black people, brown people, and even poor white people, and understand that we need somebody that look like us. And I'm not talking about no outsider that we just brought in who do not know the landscape of this. And I'll close at this point right here, Mr. Mayor, is that our city manager brought an individual in because she said to us, myself, and 2 other individuals that was meeting with her during the protest, again, that I started. And I'll say to us unequivocally, if things don't change, there'll be more of those when we exercise our constitutional right to peacefully assemble, because when the power don't hear the voices of the people, then the people then disrupt power. So we want to make sure, Mr. Mayor, that when the decision is made for a police chief, and if Chief Yates remain in power for whatever long that is, but when his term is up, we want somebody to look like us. And we would like for the board, our need, our hurt, and our concern to have a Black person in power. You got a white manager, a white city manager, you have a white mayor, you have a white chief of the fire station, a white attorney. You don't have anybody Black, sir, that we can say, okay, Griffin can give us something other than these 3 Blacks up here that's on the board and been there for a long time. But it just seems that the power that they have does not matriculate to any results in our community. So I ask Black people to come here that very rarely come to these meetings. And we're going to keep coming back until the change takes place. But I leave you with this right here. We would like, ma'am, Mr. Mayor, Homer Daniel for our next police chief. Thank you very much.
And it's a citizen's comment. Is there anybody else on my right side like to come before the board? Anybody that came in on the left side? Back to the right. Everyone good? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rose Curtis.
Hi, Ms. Curtis.
I live at 1005 Clayton Street in Griffin, Georgia.
Can you hear you, Rose?
Rose Curtis, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. I'm here to ask, why not Captain Daniels? You know, during the year, last year, with all the gang violence, and I mean, this may not concern, you because you may not live in that neighborhood. That's it, bro. We had kids running from gunfighting, young kids, grandmothers that couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
House being shot up. This is the importance of having a new chief. In some of the Black areas in the Black community, we have been lawless. We had shootings all in the back door of the police department.
Amen.
Kids were still getting shot. They're being racially profiled for walking while Black.
Yes.
Black kids, they shouldn't be afraid to walk the street if they're not breaking the law. And they surely shouldn't have to dodge gunfire.
Right.
I came here when the first chief was hired. And the culture he brought here is here now.
That's right.
And that's why I'm hoping that you would consider Captain Homer Daniels. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing against the police officer. I know they want to get up in the morning, kiss their family goodbye and come back home too. And I pray for that. But I also pray for the young kids, young Black boys, older grandparents. I pray the same thing for them. And all I'm asking is just consider Captain Daniels, because he knows the community in and out. He's qualified, no matter what nobody say.
Right.
He's definitely qualified. So why should we look out for someone else? When you have someone that knows the community, Black and white, we need a police chief that's gonna chief the entire city of Griffin, not just some parts of Griffin. That's all I'm asking for. That's all what we need. We're asking for Homer Daniel. We're not gonna stop asking for Homer Daniel.
That's right.
You know, until we get an answer, because I say to myself, he deserves it. Not so much because he's a Black man. He's just a Black man that deserves it. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I come for. I'm not gonna argue with anyone. I feel it in my heart. I live in that community. I see gunfire all the time. I hear them, I see them. People come to me all the time, old and young, because their area are not being policed. So I ask you if you would please, sir, and please, ma'am, to consider what I just said. And thank you.
Is there anybody else in the audience? Thank you, Chair.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Reverend Wendell D. Bell, Sr. And talk about right from wrong. Now I feel discouraged because Homer Daniel is not chief. I spoke about this 7 years ago. Nothing happened. Now's the time for a change. And we was out there trying to let everybody know that what the citizens want, not only the Black, but the whites too. Myself, I stay in the community. Just last night, a gunfire went off. It was a community where old folk had to run and can't sit on the front porch. I say in the community, it's every day, not one day. And we don't know that who called the police, but police wait till everything is over with before they get there.
Right, right.
Now, what about that? And I'm gonna use a statement that Mayor Holker used, that by nominate somebody, giving somebody good courage. He said that we all got to stick together. And it was about Commission, Ronnie McCoy. Okay, he come back with a Sunday school verse that he had read in Sunday school. He said that I got to know the law from man's law, and I got to know the law, God's law. And so they accepted that instead of trying to sell that. And Ronnie McCoy, I've been knowing you for a long time. We was there for you, or you there for us. There's no Ronnie McCoy not around.
Please direct your comments directly to the board as a whole, if you don't mind, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Well, to the city commission, we need to make a change, and now it's time. Because we are sick and tired of our people get set aside. So may God bless y'all, and may God love y'all.
Thank you.
And may God keep y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Reverend Bell, I just want to address one thing that you said, and I appreciate your concerns, and I think everybody has a right to come forth and voice their concern. But one of the main things, and I say this periodically, the city commission, the 7 of us, we are 7-member board. We make 4 appointments: the city manager, city court judge, the city solicitor, and the city attorney. We don't, the 7 of us don't select the police chief. We don't hire or fire the police chief, the sanitation chief, the financial officers. We're in charge of the city attorney, the city manager, the city court judge, and the city solicitor. We don't, that's not part of the charter, the way the city works. So bringing your concerns to us is, I welcome it. But as far as me getting involved in the day-to-day operations of the city, that is not part of the charter. Most people have heard me say that several occasions. There are 3 African Americans up here. There's a 7-member board. We are not the majority. So if your concern is that we are not expressing the same things what's going on in the community, that we're not out trying to make our community better, we are, but there are only 3 of us. So I can't direct the police chief. I can't direct anyone to go out and do anything just from my seat. It takes a majority, everything that we're going to do tonight requires a majority of the board in order for it to happen. We're gonna vote, we had a vote come up, just came to mind the last meeting, we were talking about some property in Miss Flowers' district, came up in a meeting, and the mayor said he was going to defer to her about the property in her district. She voted one way, he voted the other way. So when it comes to our votes, everybody gets to make a vote. It's not based on, I don't control, the district elects me, but I can't allocate $10 million, $20 million to my district. I can't require, force, write somebody up, anything if they don't report to my district or my community. That falls under the city manager. So I appreciate your concern. I'm with whoever is right. And that's always. And my door is open. You can always call me, and I'm gonna give it to you straight every time. But to say that I can, when I've been reading social media lately, I've seen people applauding, vote for Homer Daniel to be the chief. That's not how the chief is selected in the city of Griffin. We don't vote for him. City commission, we don't take a vote on that. So if somebody Apparently not. So if somebody tells you that, and makes you think that the 3 African-American members of this board can go and today and say, we want Homer Daniel to be the chief of police and it will happen, that's not the way city politics work. So I appreciate you. You got my number. If you don't, I give it to you and you give me a call anytime. My door is open. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bell.
Can I get Ms. Rival, telephone number?
Sure, I will make sure you get it.
Thank you.
Again, this is citizen comments. Are there anybody else in the audience like to make a comment for the board? This is the fun part now. Public hearings. This is a new inventive way that we, Board of the State of Georgia, that we have to conduct public hearings. So this is a first time for us all. So please be patient with us through this process. The zoning hearings outlined for July 25, 2023. Public hearing intro. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comments on specific advertised issues such as rezoning ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered by the City Commission. For public hearings related to zoning, including amendments to the Unified Development Code or quasi-judicial decisions as defined in Article 4 of the UDC. All persons who wish to address the Board of Commissioners during the public hearing must sign up via the sign-in sheets, which are on the right side of Mr. Jacobs, providing their name and address and whether they are for or against proposed zoning or quasi-judicial decision. So our first item tonight is 314 East Solomon Street, special use and variance. So call items for public hearing and statements regarding ordinance copies. At this time, the Board of Commissioners will conduct a public hearing for agenda items 5 through 6 as noticed in the agenda as following. Item 5, receive comments regarding a request for a special use permit for a place of assembly in the Central Business District, CBD, for property located at 314 East Solomon Street. And item 6 is to receive comments regarding variance requests to reduce the 2-acre minimum lot size and 200-foot street frontage requirements for a place of assembly for property located at 314 East Solomon Street. Printed copies of the adopted standard governing the exercise applicable to the aforementioned decisions, factors for consideration, and procedures governing the hearing are available to the public. Speakers are responsible for establishing a record through the presentation of facts and supporting documentation or other evidence for consideration by the board and for review on appeal if applicable. So first item or following that is the presentation of staff report. Director of Planning and Development, Chad Jacobs, will address. To sign in sheets, special use and variance, yeah, it's a signature.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So this evening, what you have before you, as has been called up, is a special use permit for a place of assembly at 314 East Solomon Street and an associated variance that's going along with that as well. With respect to the special use permit, the applicant, Todd Gulledge, is seeking approval for a place of assembly at 314 East Solomon Street. This is a 0.23 acre tract. This would be for an establishment that he would call the garden venue. It'll be a bar, will be an outside entertainment venue located behind the cotton mill. This special use permit will allow this type of outdoor assembly. It's also located within the Central Business District and is also a part of the Entertainment and Arts Overlay District. Based on the criteria codified in the Unified Development Code, Planning and Development staff recommends conditional approval of the special use permit request as submitted by Todd Gulledge to allow the special use for a place of assembly located at 314 East Solomon Street with the following condition. That A, the applicant shall apply for a variance from the minimum 2-acre lot size and the 200 feet of street frontage requirements for places of assembly. As you all know, we've had a couple of these come before y'all in the past, and this has been a similar request with an associated variance for whether it be churches or events. At its meeting on July 17th, 2023, the Planning and Zoning Board voted 6-0 to approve with staff conditions. As it relates to the variance, again, the variance request is due to the fact that the 0.23 acre tract does not meet the 2 acre minimum within the place of assembly, nor does it meet the 200 feet of road frontage. Staff is based on the criteria codified in Unified Development Code. Planning and Development staff recommends approval of the variance at 314 East Solomon Street, submitted by Todd Gulledge to allow a place of assembly on a parcel that is less than 2 acres and has less than 200 feet of street frontage. And I thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. At this time, we're going to call the applicant to make any comments. We've got Mr. Todd Gulledge signed in for the special use application and the variance application. So Mr. Todd Gulledge. Sorry. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you all so much. I really don't have any comments. I just want to thank you, the commission and mayor and the city manager. Thank you for all that you do in this community. And that's all. The comment is I guess I've been sitting here thinking over the past few days is I just want to make this place, I want to bring and make it a destination spot. A lot of people go out of town, they go to Macon, they go to Atlanta, they go to concerts. And that's all I'm trying to do is make this a destination spot to bring revenue here for any business, whether they come to a concert, they can come to any other business or brick and mortar restaurant. And that's all I'm trying to do is make this a place to be and to bring revenue to the city of Griffin and Spalding County. And that's all I have to say. And thank y'all so much for all you do.
We have no opponents signed up to speak. So at this time, board questions and conclusion of the public hearing. Comments and discussion by the board, if any, will should be reserved until the items are called for consideration. However, does anyone from this board have any questions for staff, the applicant, or the speakers? Does anybody have any questions or comments? Thank you very much. This concludes public hearing for agenda item 5 through 6. Next application is the Rosenwald application. All items for public hearings and statements regarding ordinance copies. At this time, the Board of Commissioners will conduct a public hearing for agenda items 7 through 10 as noticed on the agenda as follows. Item 7, receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at AZ Kelsey Avenue consisting of 1.71 plus or minus acres from institutional to high density residential, A, HDRA. Item 8 is receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at 415 Jefferson Street consisting of 3.896 plus or minus acres of 6.4 plus or minus acres to add to special housing revitalization overlay district, Sherrod. Item 9 is receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located on Cabin Creek Drive consisting of 1.82 plus or minus acres to add the special housing revitalization overlay district, Sherrod. And item 10 is received comments regarding a request to rezone property located at AZ Kelsey Avenue consisting of 1.71 plus or minus acres to add the special housing revitalization overlay district, Sherrod. Printed copies of the adopted standards governing the exercise applicable to the aforementioned decisions, factors for consideration, and procedures governing the hearing are available to the public. Speakers are responsible for establishing a record through the presentation of facts and supporting documentation or other evidence for consideration by the board and for review on appeal and applicable. At this time, presentation by staff, Director of Planning Development, Chad Jacobs, will address.
Hey, couple things, kind of lay a little bit of groundwork here to kind of maybe help explain kind of what's going on. So you have 4 requests that are before you, and that's all part of one proposal. So what's happening on one of these tracks, which is the first application that was called up, is a rezoning to the underlying zone. So, and that would be on this 1.7 acres that is here. So That is being, the request is to be rezoned from what's currently institutional to high density residential A. Then the next three applications would be for an overlay zone, which would go on top of that. And that would be for all three of these parcels here. So this 1.71 acres. And then directly adjacent to the south would be this 1.28 acre tract. I'm sorry, 1.82 acre tract. And then this tract here, which is split zone. So it's a 6.4 acre tract, but what's involved in this is a 3.896 acres. So the reason for the overlay zoning or the charade that is called, which is the Special Housing Revitalization Overlay District. The HDRA zoning district only allows for 12 units per acre, whereas the charade will allow for 20 units per acre. And it gives the developer also a little bit more design flexibility as it relates to things like setbacks. So we kind of want to give you a little bit of breakdown on that. The total acreage for this project, if approved, when all tracts are combined, is 7.4.
Much more housing does that give as opposed to the previous development that was here?
Yes, so this is traditionally has been a vacant property. So it's been vacant for more than a decade. So all three of these tracts currently right now, this 1.71 acres again, is currently future planned under the comprehensive plan as public institutional. Both this piece and this piece, well, actually, I'm sorry, this piece is planned residential. This piece is also planned public / institutional. Again, this reflects as it because it used to be school property. All three of the tracts are part of the redevelopment area on the character areas map within the comprehensive plan, which places a strong emphasis on the preservation of the historical educational landmarks and the introduction of mixed use and residential development opportunities, economic prosperity, and sense of place. So multifamily is a concept here that is allowed within that character area. This tract, along with the two tracts referenced above, will be part of a proposed high density residential multifamily development. It will be comprised of 5 3-story garden style apartment buildings, along with a clubhouse location within the existing historical and vacant Fairmont High School that will be rehabilitated for clubhouse space. The development will provide 138 total dwelling units consisting of 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. Pursuant to the application submitted, the development will involve high quality construction materials and earned green building certification. These materials will include long lasting cementitious siding and brick, energy efficient windows, and upgraded architectural shingles. The residential buildings will be designed to complement the facades of the building on Fairmont and Roosevelt School campus. Stephen, if we can move that ahead one, it should have the concept plan. There we go. So again, this is the concept plan. So to kind of give you some idea of where you're at here, this is the 1.71 acres, then the 1.82, and then the split zone piece that's here. Again, all this will be combined in the 7.4 acres. This project, along with the next application that you're going to hear at 512 North 6th Street location, will be submitted to the Department of Community Affairs for a scattered site 4% low income housing tax credit application. By submitting both of these applications together, even though they're in separate locations, it will help to make the application more competitive. So based on the criteria codified in the Unified Development Code, planning staff recommends conditional approval of the underlying rezoning request to rezone the 1.71 acres located at the corner of AZ Kelsey Avenue and Cabin Creek Drive from institutional to high density residential A with the following conditions. Approval shall be tied to the concept plan dated April 19, 2023 by Collaborative Housing Solutions submitted with the applications, which is this concept plan. Minor alterations to the concept plan by Collaborative Housing Solutions due to engineering of the site shall be allowed. Any change in the project scope, which increases the density from the current proposal, will be subject to additional rezoning review under sections 405 and 408 of the Unified Development Code. B, the future land use map of the comprehensive plan for the subject property shall be amended from public institutional to residential. At its meeting on July 17th, 2023, the Planning and Zoning Board voted 6-0 to approve with staff conditions. Again, this is as it relates to the underlying rezoning for this 1.7 acre tract here. Now, moving on to all three of these for the STRA that we were talking about, for the overlay that's going on top of all these. Based on the criteria codified in the Unified Development Code, planning staff recommends conditional approval of the request to rezone 415 Jefferson Street, which is a 3.896 acres of 6.4. The tract on Cabin Creek, which is 1.82 acres, and on AC Kelsey, which is the 1.71 acres, adding the special housing revitalization overlay district with the following conditions. That A, the rezoning of 415 Jefferson Street shall be subject to the 3.89 acres of the existing 6.4 acre tract as shown on the concept plan dated April 19, 2023, submitted by Collaborative Housing Solutions. B, approval shall be tied to the concept plan dated April 19, 2023 by Collaborative Housing Solutions submitted with the applications. Minor alterations to the concept plan by Collaborative Housing Solutions due to the engineering of the site shall be allowed. Any change in the project scope which increases the density from the current proposal will be subject to additional rezoning review under sections 405 and 408 of the Unified Development Code. C, the future land use map of the comprehensive plan for the subject property shall be amended from public institutional to residential. And then finally, D, a plat combining all affected adjacent tracts into one parcel shall be submitted to planning and development for review prior to submittal of civil plans. At its meeting on July 17, 2023, the Planning and Zoning Board voted 6-0 to approve the staff conditions. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, so moving into the call for applicant and proponent speakers. At this time, we'll call persons who have signed up to speak in favor of the application, beginning with the applicant. So on all four, we have Jill from the Matic and Robert Dole. So welcome. Yeah, the spelling is a little dramatic.
Yes, handwriting matters.
Well,
Penmanship.
yes.
Cromartie. Good evening. I'm
Good
Jill
evening.
Cromartie with Collaborative Housing Solutions.
I'm Robert Dole, 1003 Skyline Drive, Griffin, Georgia.
I don't have anything additional to add to what Chad said, but I want to say thank you all for your time and consideration for these requests.
I'd like to add and support. We lost a lot of housing in Griffin in February. We have been focused on the Rosenwald area for 10 years, and it fills my heart. We're moving forward with something there. This community is in desperate need. You heard some of the pain that was expressed today. I think that I just hope you support this going forward, and we're not for.
Commissioner Murray, it will provide 166 housing units.
Confused. I thought, I was thinking there was something there, but I guess.
On the big site, there will be 138 and 28 on the smaller site. Thank you.
Thank you. And it looks like we do not have any opponents. Is that correct?
Mr. Mayor, Emily asked if she could make a comment as well.
I have some
Sign in
questions.
later.
I did have some questions.
Okay. Okay. If there are any sheets. I've got it. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
My name is Tina Marston. So I just had some questions. The five three-story apartment style units, 138, that will be on AZ Kelsey. Is that behind the school that where's that site at?
So the
Delta Park field.
So here is the gym that's at the corner of 3rd and Jefferson. This is a Rosenwald site. And then AZ Kelsey is up here. Well, yes, it's up there.
So where's the site that the 138 units are going?
Here.
Right there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so is that going to be affordable housing or are there going to be income guidelines?
It's workforce housing.
Workforce housing?
Yes, ma'am.
80% or less. We're gonna go 138 units in an area that's already really required. And that's gonna be, I don't see how that's gonna do a good thing. That's a lot of units in that small tract of land.
Right, board questions? Any questions or comments from the board? Comments and discussion by the board, if any, will be reserved until the item is called for consideration. However, if you have questions, no. This concludes public hearing agenda items 7 through 10. Next is the Roseview application. Call items for public hearing and statement regarding ordinance copies. At this time, the Board of Commissioners will conduct a public hearing for agenda items 11, as noticed in the agenda as following. Receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at 512 North 6th Street, considering a 2.4 plus minus acre for adding the special housing revitalization overlay district TROD. Printed copies of the adopted standards governing the exercise applicable to the aforementioned decisions, factors for consideration, and procedures governing the hearing are available to the public. Speakers are responsible for establishing a record through the presentation of facts and supporting documentation or other evidence for consideration by the board and for review or on appeal if applicable. Presentation of staff. Director of Planning Development Chad Jacobs will address presenting the staff report and the application on behalf of the city as the applicant. If we can go back to the original slide that had the overall site back up. Yes. So this discussion will be regarding this tract here. This is the Roseview site that I'm sure all of you are familiar with. The City of Griffin, in collaboration with Griffin Spalding Housing Authority, is requesting a zoning change to add the special housing revitalization overlay district to the 2.4 acres located at 512 North 6th Street to develop a multifamily housing complex. It must be noted, however, that a recent survey performed by the developer indicated that there's only a 1.74 acres of developable area, and this is largely due to there's a portion of right of way here that drops out from this, but it's listed as 2.4 within Q Public currently, so we just wanted to be clear on that. The future land use map within the comprehensive plan indicates this property as residential, so that's compliant there, and the character area map also indicates this as a revitalization area. As was with the Rosen, as is with the Rosen North side as well, which supports the request. The subject property, see if you can move to the last slide on this, which is the concept plan. Next one. Thank you. The subject property previously consisted of 45 apartment dwellings that were in significant distress and part of a nuisance case. The city purchased the property in 2021 and demolished substandard structures. Currently, the developer is proposing a multifamily housing development consisting of 28 dwelling units in a townhome quadruplex style. The conceptual plan provides for 4 two-story buildings with 4 to 8 units per building and ample parking. The property is currently zoned HDRA, which allows only 12 units per acre. The STRAT overlay is needed to allow for the added density of 20 units per acre and setback flexibility, which assists with the design. Again, this would be a total of 28 units at this location. So we're almost cutting the units that were there in half. Based on the criteria codified in the Unified Development Code, planning staff recommends conditional approval of the request to rezone the 2.4 acre tract of land located at 512 North 6th Street, adding the special housing revitalization overlay district with the following condition. Approval shall be tied to the concept plan dated July 10th, 2023 by Collaborative Housing Solutions submitted with the applications. Minor alterations to the concept plan by Collaborative Housing Solutions due to engineering of the site shall be allowed. Any change in the project scope which increases the density from the current proposal will be subject to additional rezoning review under sections 405 and 408 of the Unified Development Code. At their meeting on July 17, 2023, the Planning and Zoning Board voted 6-0 to approve the staff conditions. So at this time, we have the applicant, talk and proponent speakers, and we just have Ms. Jill Manick and Robert Bell come before us again. Is Cromartie? Oh, it looks like see. I'm sorry. Thank you.
This site will be composed or comprised mostly of 1 and 2 bedroom units, with one building containing 3 bedroom units. It will have a family tenancy, and as mentioned, 428 units.
Design wise, it'll be very similar to this townhouse look on Merriweather. And so it's gonna lift this neighborhood up as like Merriweather did.
These are really adorable. This is what I'm looking at, this picture here.
Yes.
Okay, but you said they were 2-story,
Yes.
like there's, but it's one unit,
It will
2-story. So there's no units upstairs and downstairs.
There will be upstairs and downstairs, but it has the look and appearance of a townhouse from the outside. Thank you.
We have no opponents on the list. At this time, comments and discussion by board, if any, be reserved until the item is called for consideration. However, does anyone from the board have any questions for staff, the applicant, or the speakers? Good. Okay. Item 5, list here is hospital project, HDRB, rezoning, medical overlay, and Shrod. All items for public hearing and statement regarding ordinance copies. At this time, the board is going to conduct a public hearing for the agenda items 12 through 24. 7 is noticed in the agenda as follows. Item 12, receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located on South 9th Street consisting of 5.6 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development to high density residential, B, HDRB. Item 13, receive comments regarding the request to rezone property located at Collins Street consisting of 4 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development to high density residential, B, HDRB. Item 14, receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at 427 Collins Street consisting of 1.0 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development, PCD. High density residential, D, HDRB. Item 15, receive comments regarding request to rezone property located at 561 South 9th Street consisting of 3.56 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development, PCD, to high density residential, D. Item 16 is receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at 431 South 9th Street consisting of 0.57 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development to high density residential, B. Item 17, receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at 411 South 9th Street consisting of 0.3 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development to high density residential, B. Item 18, receive comments to rezone properties located at South 9th Street consisting of 5.63 plus or minus acres, Collins Street consisting of 2.4 plus or minus acres, 427 Collins Street consisting of 1.08 plus or minus acres, 561 South 9th Street consisting of 3.56 plus or minus acres, 431 South 9th Street consisting of 0.57 plus or minus acres, and 411 South 9th Street consisting of 0.38 plus or minus acres to remove the medical overlay district mode. Item 19, receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at South 9th Street consisting of 5.63 plus or minus acres, adding special housing revitalization overlay district Shrod. Item 20 is receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at Collins Street consisting of 2.4 plus or minus acres, adding a special housing revitalization overlay district Shrod. Item 21 is consider comments regarding a request to rezone property located at 427 Collins Street consisting of 1.08 plus or minus acres, adding special housing revitalization overlay district Shrod. Item 22, receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at 561 South 9th Street consisting of 3.56 plus or minus acres, adding special housing revitalization overlay district Shrod. Item 23, receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at 431 South 9th Street consisting of 0.57 plus or minus acres, adding special housing revitalization overlay district Shrod. Item 24, receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at 411 South 9th Street consisting of 0.38 plus or minus acres, adding the special housing revitalization overlay district Shrod. Printed copies of the adopted standards governing the exercise applicable to the aforementioned decisions, factors for consideration, and procedures governing the hearing are available to the public. Speakers are responsible for establishing a record for the presentation of facts and supporting documentation or other evidence for consideration by the review on appeal if applicable. Director of Planning Development, Chad Jacobs, will address during the staff report. Go to the comments. Yes, sir. Okay. About the parcels, okay, so just like with the previous request where you had underlying rezonings that were changing, we have 6 parcels that are involved here. All 6 of these are asking for a rezoning change. They're also asking for the shrine to be placed on top. But there's one process that's kind of here in the middle. This property currently already has a medical overlay district on it, so a part of this process is to remove that overlay district as well. So you have 3 kind of issues that are taking place here. So again, for all 6 tracks, so again, this is the 5.6 acre tract on South 9th Street. This is the 2.4 acre tract that's on Collins Street. This is the 1.08 acre tract at 427 Collins Street. This is the 3.56 acre tract at 561 South 9th Street. This is the 0.57 acre tract at 431 South 9th Street. And this is a 0.3 acre tract at 411 South 9th Street. So these are the 6 parcels that are involved within this request. So again, for all 6 of these, the applicant is asking to go from planned commercial development to HDR-B, which is high density residential B. So in addition to these applications, as indicated, the applicant has also submitted a request to remove the current medical overlay zoning district, which does not permit residential uses, and to add the special housing revitalization overlay district to increase the allowable density. So again, under HDR-B, allowable density is 14 units to the acre, where SHRA will be 220 units to the acre. For these 6 properties, half of them are future planned as residential. So this piece, and this piece. So basically these 3 here are planned residentially. These 3 pieces to the north are planned commercially. So however, also within the same comprehensive plan, all 6 tracks are part of, and this is where it starts to get a little added confusing, but it's a part of a medical overlay district, which is a comprehensive plan district in the character area, which places a strong emphasis on the continued development of institutional and medical services, but also focuses on multifamily housing units as a primary land use as well. So this makes it consistent with the comprehensive plan. The applicant states in the application that the development will be a 250 unit Class A luxury apartment development. 150 units will be 2 bedroom and 2 bath. 50 units will be 3 bedroom, 3 bath. And the remaining 50 units will be 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Each unit will consist of the LVP flooring, quartz countertops, thick crown and base moldings, window trim, flat panel, modern designer cabinets and finishes, walk-in closets, tile bathroom showers, matte black electrical finishes, balconies, and alarm systems. The conceptual plan, Steve, we move to the next. The conceptual plan provides for 8 3-story apartment buildings. The exterior of the buildings will be developed with brick and hardy siding with a modern stylistic approach. The developer is also proposing an amenity center and pickleball courts, pool, and splash pad to help kind of orient you with where you are currently. So this is 9th Street that runs through here. And then so the hospital will be basically down here. Actually, this is the golf course that's over to this area here. And so here you see the individual buildings here, 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 and here. This is all parking. This is the clubhouse area. This is an amenity center.
And I think this is a leasing center as well. So just wanted to help kind of orient you guys with where we are on conceptual plan. Based on the criteria, also, Steve, if we can move forward one more. This is the medical overlay. So if you see this green outline here that moves such as this, that's the current medical overlay that's in the zoning for this area. Where you see here, so all this that's in blue, what we're asking, this used to be or would have been in blue, we're asking to remove that here, or the applicant's asking to remove that. So that's basically how the overlay would be now for the medical overlay, assuming approval of this moving forward. So as it relates to the underlying zoning requests for all 6 of these parcels, going from PCD to HDRB, staff is based on the criteria codified in the Unified Development Code, staff is recommending conditional approval for all 6 parcels from PCD to HDRB with the following conditions. Approval shall be tied to the concept plan from Innovate Engineering submitted with the applications. Minor alterations to the concept plan by Innovate Engineering due to engineering of the site shall be allowed. Any change in the project scope which increases the density from the current proposal will be subject to additional rezoning review under sections 405 and 408 of the Unified Development Code. B, the future land use map of the comprehensive plan for parcel numbers 02309-003, 02308-007, and 02308-004, which again, will be the most northern ones up here, shall be amended from commercial to residential. B, the developer must successfully abandon the portions of Collins Street, Ty Street, and Rayburn Street impacted on the concept plan by Innovate Engineering submitted with the applications prior to submittal of civil plan review. D, a plat combining all affected adjacent tracts into one parcel shall be submitted to planning and development for review prior to submittal of civil plans. E, the current medical overlay zoning district shall be removed for all 6 subject properties. At its meeting on July 17th, 2023, the Planning and Zoning Board voted 5-1 to approve the staff conditions. With respect to the application to remove the medical overlay district, staff is recommending approval for that on all 6 tracks as well. At its meeting on July 17th, 2023, the Planning and Zoning Board voted 6-0 to approve. As it relates to the Shroud, the overlay, the new overlay to go on top of all 6 parcels, staff is recommending conditional approval with the following conditions, which also mirrored the same ones for the underlying, but I'll read them into the record. A, approval shall be tied to the concept plan by Innovate Engineering submitted with the applications. Minor alterations to the concept plan by Innovate Engineering due to engineering of the site shall be allowed. Any change in the project scope which increases the density from the current proposal will be subject to additional rezoning review under sections 405, 408 of the Unified Development Code. B, the future land use map of the comprehensive plan for parcel numbers 02309-003, 02308-007, and 02308-004 shall be amended from commercial to residential. C, the developer must successfully abandon the portions of Collins Street, Ty Street, and Rayburn Street impacted on the concept plan by Innovate Engineering submitted with the applications prior to submittal of civil plan review. D, a plat combining all affected adjacent tracts into one parcel shall be submitted to the planning and development for review prior to submittal of civil plans. And finally, E, the current medical overlay zoning district shall be removed from all 6 subject properties. At their meeting on July 17th in 2023, the Planning and Zoning Board voted 6-0 to approve the staff conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. At this time, we're going to call the applicant and proponent speakers. At this time, we will call persons who have signed up to speak in favor of the application, beginning with the applicant. And so the only name we have on all of the applications is Cody Rock. Welcome, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor. Basically, Chad just summed it all up. Did a great job, by the way. What we had slated to discuss.
Name and address for the record, please.
I'm sorry, sir.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Oh, yes, it's Cody Brock, 416 Bay Tree Road, Valdosta, Georgia. But
basically Chad summed it all up with what we had prepared to discuss, so. If anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them, best of my ability.
Are there any questions from anybody?
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yes, have a good evening.
There are no comments. So I'm not table 7. Okay, board questions, inclusion of public hearing for items 12 through 24, comments and discussion by board, and if any, will be reserved until the items are called for consideration. However, does anyone from the board have any questions for staff, the applicant, or the speakers? Ms. Kelsey, we good? Okay. This concludes the public hearing for items 12 through 24. Item 6, amendment of the UDC permitted uses chart, personal care home. Item for public hearing and a statement regarding ordinance copies. At this time, the Board of Commissioners will conduct a public hearing for the agenda item 25, notice in the agenda as follows. Receive comments regarding a request to amend the Unified Development Code, City of Griffin, Article 7, Section 704.7, Table 7.3, permitted use table. Printed copies of the adopted standards governing the exercise applicable to the aforementioned decisions, factors for consideration, and procedures governing hearing are available to the public. Speakers are responsible for establishing a record through the presentation of facts and supporting documents or other evidence for consideration by the board and for review on appeal if applicable. This time, presentation of staff report, Director of Planning and Development, Chad Jacobs, will address.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, home stretch. So this request you have before you, this is a housekeeping item brought to you by staff. If you remember back in February, I believe we came before y'all with an amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance with respect to personal care homes, where we provide some criteria, moving them from permitted uses into special use permitted uses, and adding some criteria to those special use permits for personal care homes. At that time, we neglected to add these in as special use, as a special use permitted use within the neighborhood business district in the PCD planned commercial district as well. So that's what this request is before you this evening, just to add that in as a special use for personal care homes, boarding homes, just like we did back in February with into those two zoning districts on the permitted use chart.
There is no one that's signed for or against on this. So at this time, board questions, inclusion, comments, and discussion by board, if any, will be reserved until the items are called for consideration. However, does anyone from the board have any questions for staff? That's good. Okay. Like consent agenda, taking items 26A, 26 through 37. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? We have a motion from Ms. Murray. We have a second. Ms. Ward with a second. All in favor of the consent agenda, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Question for staff. Do we need to take each one of these individually, or can you package them up the same way they were presented?
They have to be taken individually.
Individually, okay, just check. Okay. Here we go. So regular agenda, item 38, consider a request for a special use permit for a place of central business district for the property located at 314 East Solomon Street. Director of Planning Development, Chad Jacobs, will address. Are there any, so we can, okay, with the condition of applying for the variance. So with the conditions that correct, Mr. McCord? Okay. Mr. McCord with the motion, with a second by Ms. Murray, I believe. Ms. Ward, okay, thank you. All in favor of item 38, please signify by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 39 is consider a variance request to reduce the 2-acre minimum lot size and 200-foot street frontage requirement for the place of assembly for a property located at 314 East Solomon. Ms. Murray with the motion, with the second. Ms. Ward with the second. All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 40 is consider a request to rezone property located at AZ Kelsey Avenue consisting of 1.71 plus or minus acres for institutional high density residential with the conditions presented as staff. Ms. Ward with the motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 6-0. Consider 41, consider request to rezone property located at 415 Jefferson Street consisting of 3.896 plus or minus acres of a 6.4 plus or minus acre parcel to add the special housing revitalization overlay district SHROD with the conditions. With the motion to approve. Mrs. Ward with the motion, Ms. Murray with the second. All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 42 is consider request to rezone property located at Cabin Creek Drive consisting of 1.82 plus or minus acres to add to the special housing revitalization overlay district SHROD with the conditions. The motion approved. Mrs. Ward with the motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 43 is consider request to rezone property located at AZ Kelsey Avenue consisting of 1.71 plus or minus acres to add the special housing revitalization overlay district SHROD with the conditions. Do a motion to approve. Ms. Ward with the motion, Ms. Murray with the second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 44 is consider request to rezone property located at 512 North 6th Street consisting of 2.4 plus or minus acres, adding the special housing revitalization over district SHROD. Motion approved. Ms. Ward with the conditions. Ms. Ward with the motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 45 is consider request to rezone the property located at South 9th Street consisting of 5.63 plus or minus acres and commercial development to high density residential B with the conditions. Ms. Ward with the conditions included, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 45. Item 46 is consider request to rezone property located on Collins Street consisting of 2.4 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development PCD to high density residential B. We have motion approved with conditions. Ms. Ward, Ms. Murray with the second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 47 is consider request to rezone property located at 427 Collins Street consisting of 1.08 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development PCD to high density residential B. We have a motion approved with conditions. Ms. Ward with the motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 48 is consider request to rezone property located at 561 South 9th Street consisting of 3.596 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development PCD to high density residential B. We have a motion approved with conditions. Ms. Ward with the motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 49 is consider request to rezone property located at 431 South 9th Street consisting of 0.57 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development to high density residential B with the motion conditions. Ms. Ward with the motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 50, consider a request to rezone property located at 411 South 9th Street consisting of 0.38 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development PCD to high density residential B. Motion to approve with conditions. Ms. Ward with motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 51 is consider request to rezone properties located at South 9th Street consisting of 5.63 plus or minus acres, Collins Street consisting of 2.4 plus or minus acres, 427 Collins Street consisting of 1.08 plus or minus acres, 561 South 9th Street consisting of 3.56 plus or minus acres, 431 South 9th Street consisting of 0.57 plus or minus acres, and 411 South 9th Street consisting of 0.38 plus or minus acres to remove the medical overlay district. The motion is Ward, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0 on item 51. Item 52 is Consider request to rezone property located on South 9th Street consisting of 5.63 plus or minus acres, adding the special housing revitalization overlay district Shrod. 52, I'll make a motion to approve with conditions. Ms. Ward with motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 53 is consider request to rezone property located at Collins Street consisting of 2.4 plus or minus acres, adding a special housing revitalization overlay district. We have a motion approved with conditions. Ms. Ward with a motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal. 6-0. Item 54 is consider request to rezone property located at 5427 Collins Street consisting of 1.08 plus or minus acres, adding a special housing revitalization overlay district. We have a motion approved with conditions. Ms. Ward with a motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raise your hand. 6-0. Item 55 is consider request to rezone property located at 561 South 9th Street consisting of 3.56 plus or minus acres, adding special housing revitalization overlay district Shrub. We have motion approved with conditions. Ms. Ward, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 56 is consider request to rezone property located at 431 South 9th Street consisting of 0.57 plus or minus acres, adding the special housing revitalization overlay district. We have a motion approved with condition, with conditions. Good, Ms. Ward, Ms. Murray. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 57 is to consider request to rezone property located at 411 South 9th Street consisting of 23 plus or minus acres, adding the special housing revitalization overlay district. The motion approved with the conditions. Ms. Ward, motion, second by Ms. Murray. Favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 58 is considered to request to amend the Unified Development Code of the City of Griffin, Article 7, Section 704.7.3, permitted use of table. We have a motion to approve. Ms. Ward with the motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raise your hand. 6-0. All right, Chad, congratulations. Thank you. All right. Slowing down a little bit. Now, item 59, consider on first reading amending the Code of Griffin, Georgia at chapter 57, media production, sections 57-2, scope of coverage, section 57-3, permit requirements, section 57-4, low impact standards, section 57-5, high impact standard, section 57-6, application and permit procedure, section 57-7, fees and waivers. Staff Attorney Kelsey Carden, Camera Ready Liaison Karen Bennett, and Director of Planning Development Chad Jacobs are available to address. We have Ms. Murray with a motion to approve. Second by Ms. Ward. Any questions or discussion?
This is what we discussed this morning.
Yes, sir. All in favor, please signal by 6-0.
Can you start back at 38 again?
No.
Sure. Go ahead.
Item 60, consider. Item 60, consider on first reading amending the code of ordinance of the city of Griffin, chapter 90, traffic in vehicles, article 3, speed zones, section 90-61, speed zones enumerated in order to update maximum speeds on certain streets on and off the state highway system, update school zone times and speeds, and modify descriptive information for certain streets on and off the highway system. Ms. Murray with a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. McCord with a second. I have a question in terms of school zone cameras. Is this addressed in here?
No, this is not school zone cameras, although they will be related to the times.
Okay.
They'll have to go with the new times and the new speeds that have been set by GDOT.
Okay.
Is that the information that you will give us?
That information is being updated with GDOT right now.
I know every y'all can get mad. You just spend 2 minutes just talking about what it is. Just give us a brief.
That'd be great.
Of course. Okay, so this information was actually given to the police department by GDOT. They routinely, every couple of years, update the speed limit chart whenever their requests are made. This request was actually the primary portion of the change that we have. The request was actually put in by the Board of Education to update their school times and their school zones. So that's the main difference. It did seem like there had been some time between the changes that GDOT made and then getting us that information. So we're doing a full assessment of the signs and both for the school zones and for our regular speed signs to make sure that we're in compliance, make sure they're in the right locations. And we'll be updating all the information in GDOT and with our school zone camera provider to make sure that all of that information is correct with the school zone as well.
And it's my understanding on the north, South Hill Street, 155 camera light, that's going to be changed to a 35 mile an hour,
No, it's 30. It's going from 25 to 30.
25 to 30. Okay, so that's the change there. It's on 16? No.
No,
That's a
Crescent Elementary on Sarah Old 55, 500 feet south of Crescent Road to 500 feet north of Crescent Road. From 7:15 to 8:15 in accordance with the updated school times, and from 2:45 to 3:45. Again, in accordance with the updated school times, that will be changing from 25 to 30.
And I wanted her to read it. Not that I received 2 of those tickets, but I just wanted everybody else, just in case somebody else received the ticket for driving in this.
And for non-school time, it'll go up to 40.
Very nice. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Right, and are we close to getting the signals, the flashers and all that?
That's a completely different matter with a completely different department. So
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, we got a motion by Ms. Murray, second by Mr. Ford. All in favor, please signal, raise your hand. 6-0. Thank you. Item 61 is consider the minutes of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners regular meeting on June 13th. And let's see, Commissioner Murray was absent, so we've got a motion from Mr. Hensley, second by Ms. Ward. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 5-0-1 with Mrs. Murray abstaining. Item 62, consider adoption of the 2020-2040 Griffin Spalding County wastewater management plan. Ms. Murray with the motion, second by Ms. Ward. I want to just thank Mr. Lewis for an excellent presentation this morning. Very optimistic with the opportunities we have before us. All in favor of consider the adoption, please signal by raising your hand. 6. Item 63 is consider a contract for water and sewer construction services for phase 1 of the community development block grant Western area RDJE Inc. Lowest response bidder, the amount of $1,723,615 and amend the budget accordingly. Ms. Murray with a motion, second by Ms. Ward. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 24 is consider a TOF with Paragon Consulting Group for an update of the Shoal Creek service model, sewer model in the amount of $47,485. Ms. Ward with a motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 65 is consider a task order from the master service agreement between the City of Griffin and Paragon Consulting Group in the amount of $47,000 for construction documents, bid administration, and construction management for the replacement of 2 bridges located at the entrance and exit of the Griffin Golf Course. So, Mr. Tinsley with a motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 66, consider sales order subject to lease quote for a CAT D5 dozer with solid waste package from Yancey Brothers Inc. Sourcewell contract for a 5-year lease term with an annual payment of $95,681.14. So Mr. McCord with the motion, second by Ms. Ward. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Item 67 is consider the purchase of 7 Ford Interceptor police vehicles, 4 Ford Interceptor police administrative vehicles, 1 Chevrolet Silverado, in a total amount of $537,400. $537,400. Thank you. 400 from Brandon Motor Company, lowest quote. So Mr. Tinsley with a motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Murray with a second. All in favor, please signal. Raise your hand. 6-0. You're a good mayor, president. Thank you so much. Item 68, consider contract amendment to the master service agreement with the Rainius in the amount of $4,800 for the reconfiguration and template enhancement of the City of Griffin website's home page. Mrs. Ward with the motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signify. Raise your hand. 6-0. Item 69 is consider audit engagement letters for audit services with independent auditors, Malden and Jenkins, and certified public accountants as a professional service. Motion by Mr. Tinsley, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. And item 7, consider a claim on behalf of Johnny Parks for personal injury based on any line of notice dated June 8, 2023 from attorney Calvin Smith, alleging that on April 27, 2023 at approximately 7:58 his client Johnny Parks tripped over the City of Griffin water meter cover in the sidewalk in front of 118 South 8th Street, Griffin, Georgia, causing injury to his leg, shins, and left shoulder, and seeking recovery of $1 million. And staff recommends denial. Have a motion to deny the claim from Ms. Murray. To give a second.
That way, one comment.
You may, sir.
There, the South 8th Street, 100 block is the east side where the Spalding Saddle Shop is. You got coming from Solomon Street, coming southward. You've got the side of the Griffin Hotel, then a parking lot, the saddle shop, then the small parking lot, then the side of Flex Coal Pharmacy. The only street address is the saddle shop and then 126. So there is no 118 South 8th Street.
Okay. So we have a motion from Ms. Murray to deny. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Tinsley. Oh, yes, sir. You may go ahead.
Do we have something showing the $1 million? I mean, does he present some type of medical bills? Or?
No, we got all we got. Attached to the agenda.
Any other questions? We have a motion from Murray, second by Tinsley to deny the claim. All in favor of denial, please signal by raise your hand. All against, like sign.
You have to just abstain on this one. I mean, just an abstention. I don't have enough information to. I don't have any. Where to. I'm telling
You messed up a 6-0 run. We had 6-0 on everything.
you. I'm sorry.
Before, if you don't have a conflict, you can't stay.
I heard just over there. I heard.
That's why I was looking.
Okay, I vote against it.
5-1 with McCord again. So we did have a split. Wonderful. All right, great job tonight. So we're gonna move into city manager's report.
I do need a meeting set up with those of you that have not yet spoken with GMC, our consultant for the comprehensive plan. This is their last chance. So you've got to get those calendared or your district will not be represented. It's what I heard set up today, but we have some long in our meeting, so we're gonna get that rescheduled. But they can do a team's meeting with these Flowers and Mary Woodard are on the steering committee, so you do not have to do that.
Okay.
They think that they've heard, they will have heard enough unless you want,
Say so.
unless you want an individual meeting, which you're welcome to do.
No, I've done enough stickers.
Sir,
Comprehensive plan.
they want to talk to you about your district and the comprehensive plan.
They get me talking about tomorrow.
I'm trying to do that now.
When is this work schedule?
I'm sorry?
It's a schedule.
Is
Yes,
there a- we have a schedule.
You tell me a time and I'll work out a team's meeting for each.
They can be separate. or can we come
Yes,
together?
they're all separate.
Okay.
Ms. Ward is gonna try and do hers tomorrow at 9, but I'm not sure if that's gonna work.
It'll be on Thursday after.
Okay, can I just, is it okay to text you all separately? We'll
Yeah,
get it set
text
up?
me, what time they have available now, try to.
They just told us they would make it work. Also, on August 3rd, the next step in becoming a diversity and equity, inclusion and belonging city is another Embrace training from GMA's Freddie Broom. He is their director of diversity and inclusion, so he will be here that day at Historic City Hall from 1 to 4:30. We didn't get that to know you tonight. So as many of you that can attend would be great. I do need to know if there will be 4 of you so we can notice a form. But of course, it won't be any business or voting, just training. And then also a congratulations to Mr. Melton, who's standing back there. He is the meritorious operator recipient for the Georgia section of the American Public Works Association for his water contributions as a water system operator. That's a big deal. And there's water. Noted. We didn't know he was getting that award until recently. I think he did that on purpose. And then also our quarterly connector award winners for this past quarter is our internal communications group. I hope you have noticed if you have come in the Solomon Street entrance recently, how much better it looks and how much easier it is to know where you are and how to get around down there. The next area they will tackle is the customer service area, so that you'll see some updates there as well. And Ms. Woods nominated them for all they have done as far as signage and what it looks like when you enter One Griffin Center. So just wanted to make note of them as well, since they do not get recognized at a commission meeting. And that is it for me. Thank you.
Well, I could make a motion. I move before it buy you a drink tonight. Very well. I was reading to do 727. Well, I can't tongue tied if you got to agenda items. I didn't prepare on those. I had like gone over everything else really well. Thank you. Good job. Ms. Murray.
So what a productive meeting. Thank you to all those who came and were very patient with us and those who spoke about issues. And, looks like from everything from the housing to all the rezoning. Chad, great job. We're very fortunate to have you. So just looks like we're moving Griffin with the right steps in the right direction. So still happy to be here. And that's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Flowers.
I appreciate all the hard work that went into all of the projects that we approved tonight. And then I'll just kind of piggyback off of what Drew said. I make a motion we buy you some glass.
You know, my glasses actually broke when I got up here, so I didn't get another pair earlier. But,
You did well. You did
Thank
well,
you.
but you can use a new pair of glasses.
my pair broke earlier, so I had to get my backups.
That's good.
Thank you, Commissioner Ward.
Just again, I love what I do up here, and I appreciate people coming out, expressing their opinions. It's what we signed up for, and it's why we serve, and we have to tackle hard issues sometimes. We are a very diverse city, and we take this, at least I do. That's what I'm here for, and I don't mind it. Ever, if somebody got a problem, if I can do something to help them, I'm going to do my best each and every time. So I want to thank staff for all the hard work for tonight. It was a long meeting, but thank you. That's it.
Mr. Tinsley. Nothing to add. Thank you. So first, I know that we've been very diligent in terms of removing substandard housing community, over 1,000 housing units over the last decade or more. And for us to come to this point through redevelopment projects, not only workforce housing, but market-based housing, it's a very exciting day. So if our developers are still here, thank you all for choosing Griffin and developing. In regards to Mr. Tina Marie Morrison and some of your comments that you brought to us, in terms of those 5 points, I think those are great ideas and concepts. So I appreciate. Is it Morrison? Is that
Marsden.
Morrison?
Marsden.
Martin. Okay, I'm sorry.
And I'll be sending that to the city manager's
So
office.
thank you so much.
Okay.
To defend my character in regards to us meeting at the Emergency Management Center, we had 65% of our electric system completely destroyed. The main trunk line serving Kentucky Avenue had no ability to get power to your residents. I checked on your street every single day after we met to see where they were in terms of getting you power. So I want to reassure you, I did everything in my capacity to not only make sure you got power on, but every time we got phone calls, we were working as hard as our staff and the 28 communities or 29 communities with 150 plus or minus linemen that were here, putting Griffin back together in, I think it was 9 total days. So if you felt like I did disservice to you in terms of your request, we were doing everything we possibly could to provide services to every citizen, whether it was food, whether it was shelter, whether it was getting blankets delivered. There were thousands of people, volunteers, citizens, employees, working diligently to try to serve the community the best we could based on that state of emergency. So
But I do appreciate you bringing these points to us tonight so that we can move forward with those. And again, staff, unbelievable, the award presentations. Thank you, Mr. Connor, for bringing that up in terms of the Heroism Award. And now we have a multifaceted employee that's both a policeman now and fireman. So if we get someone that calls in sick, we know who to go to for extra firemen. So just very proud of this team. And Chad, great job. Kelsey, great job. You took care of me. I appreciate it. So that being said, I'm only 25 minutes behind where I predicted we had. I'm close though. That's 9 o'clock. I know.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, motion adjourned. Got a second. All in favor, please.